We'll start with the good news because
this is great news.
Minnesota Supreme Court has ruled that women's bare breasts in public do not qualify as lewd. The Supreme Court ruled a topless or otherwise exposing her bare breasts doesn't inherently qualify as lewd under the current Minnesota statute.
Woo, baby.
Boys, we got an accidentally for the boys, but the reason it's
might not be such an accident.
It's not an accident, and this is why it's funny. It was just like you could just picture the guy, because basically they didn't say they're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
What they said is there's nothing sexual about it. There's nothing lewd about it. So if this is a guy who got busted looking at a set of cans and is legally his wife now, and she's like, you're looking at it, she goes, there's absolutely nothing sexual about a man looking at a woman's breast.
He was just walking. He was at the mall. A protest was happening, and then his wife's like, I'm going to dip in. Then she comes back, and he's just like, what are you doing? Fucking
you pervert. How is it pervert? There's nothing. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm observing a legal protest.
This is what a guy was doing. He was in the courtroom saying, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you aroused? Because I do not feel myself aroused.
Are you sick perverts who are aroused by women getting stripped of their rights?
Whereas someone like me just walks by, I see a set of tits, and even with my wife, I look because there's no different than my looking at your arm.
No.
Or me looking at the wall.
Free the nipple.
Or me looking at the judge who stands before me. Am I aroused because I look at your forehead? Well, that is skin, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
And I just want to say, let the jury say, I want to bring my wife in.
Yeah.
You accused me.
Sure.
Is that because you hate women's rights?
We'll be living in Saudi Arabia soon enough if we don't allow these puppies flying
You have
around.
two options. You either live in Saudi Arabia or there was nothing sexual about what I did at that mall to those 21-year-olds. To that volleyball team.
To that volleyball team. Hey, women's rights.
Nothing lewd about it.
I love how this is the women's rights that we give back.
Yeah.
You go, okay, abortion's gonzo, but we'll let you whip your tits out in public whenever you want. How does that?
We're going to meet you in the middle.
Yeah, a little trade here, okay?
We're going to meet you in the middle with the puppies being allowed to be loud and proud.
Yeah, this is a fucking art of the deal right here. This is Trump written all over it. Go take some rights, but we'll let you have the guns out in public.
Guns are out, yes. You don't take our guns.
That's what you want.
You don't take our guns. We don't take your guns.
Deal. I go, that's what you want, isn't it?
Or do you think it was the option where it was like a really nasty girl and she was sort of like, she was getting a ticket for lewd in public, and then they were just like, God, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry, look at that. Are you aroused? That's nothing sexual about this monstrosity.
Oh, well, it's the free speech argument. You go, freedom of speech is about the free speech you don't like. Freedom of titties is about the fucking gross ones you're not a fan of. You're
gonna have to take some gross ones. Yeah,
there's gonna be some real nasty ones.
Because at first the district court found the woman guilty of all charges, said her exposure was legally obscene, and then after it switched, it got overturned. They said to be guilty of lewdly exposing oneself, a person would need to be involved in a conduct of sexual nature, and the state did not present evidence sufficient to prove that the appellant lewdly exposed her body or private parts.
Your Honor, who would want to have sex with this fat pig? Your Honor.
Nothing sexual about it.
Nothing sexual about this.
Yeah, so basically if a woman's accusing you of sexualizing her by looking at her tits, you know what I mean? Even if your face is right out there, the burden of proof is actually on her to prove that there was a sexual intent.
Sure, my tongue was out.
That's how I study.
That proves nothing.
Here's a video of me doing my math homework with my tongue out.
I like Michael Jordan. Big Jordan head.
So I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, you won. Big victory for the ladies. And
Huge victory.
That's what we're going to chalk this one up to.